In a plea for genuine recognition to all six races, the invisible minority of Guyanese of Chinese descent, as they call themselves, believe their contributions to national development are being overlooked. In a candid interview, two women of Chinese descent, both citizens of Guyana, discussed the coexistence of just under 1,500 resident Chinese and called on the government to do more to address the crime situation. Melanie McTurk, the daughter of Marjorie Kirkpatrick MS, who was widely known for the work she did in chronicling the history of Chinese in Guyana, believes that Chinese have become too intertwined into the fabric of Guyanese culture to still be seen as outsiders. A descendant from the original batch of Chinese who came to Guyana, McTurk was born and raised in Guyana and identifies as a Guyanese of Chinese descent. Mei Chang, the secretary at the Chinese Association, was born in China and then came to Guyana 17 years ago. Now a Guyanese citizen, she runs a thriving manufacturing business where she produces coconut oil and coconut flour. Chang said there are about 1,300 Chinese who are resident in Guyana, 300 of which are below the age of 18, based on a recent survey done by the Chinese Association in collaboration with the Chinese Embassy in Georgetown. She clarified that while these numbers consist of mostly first and second generation Chinese, there is a larger group of migrant Chinese who travel to Guyana to work.
Guyanese of Chinese descent have contributed, in a myriad of ways to Guyana's development, and it is rarely recognized. Recognizing, and we seem to only recognize that we are six races when it comes to a festival or a holiday, and we're happy to pull out the Chinese dress. I would like to see it. Exactly, I'd like to see it be recognized as a genuine part of our culture and our heritage.
Chang and McTurk said Chinese Guyanese are often recognized, even in the school system, for their food only, as if that is their only contribution to Guyana. Chang in particular wants people to know that the contribution of Chinese to Guyana goes beyond the popular chicken fried rice and more recently the scores of Chinese supermarkets across the country. But that aside, the Chinese are here and their major concern is crime.
Is the issue of vulnerability amongst that population to the criminal element, to being targeted. And though there are no statistics to specify, and we can say that crime across Guyana has been, we can see the trend. I think it does bear looking into.
Meanwhile, while the duo does not think the pandemic has singled out any particular group of people, and it has been devastating to businesses across the board, Chang and McTurk believe the impact on Chinese businesses must be stated.
Guyana, of course, is lucky that we have the advent of oil to bolster and to help buffer some of that impact, or it could be even worse. But I think it is important for us to recognize that with the pandemic has come more widespread poverty.
Another major issue for the small group of people is anti-Chinese sentiments through discriminatory remarks. McTurk believes the COVID-19 pandemic has also given rise to this locally, finding fuel from inflammatory statements made in international spaces. But these anti-Chinese encounters are not limited to the pandemic only, and in referencing her own experiences, she said racism against Chinese in Guyana occurs almost daily.
Because of COVID, because of inflammatory statements made in the international spaces within the last year, there is a certain anti-Chinese sentiment, and there is a certain suspicion towards Chinese business, showing up with features that differ from the standard Indo or Afro-Guyanese features. I came in for a lot of teasing and ridicule as a child. I know many young people who face that sort of harassment on a regular basis.
The two women have also expressed concern for those children of Chinese descent who attend schools in Guyana. A major concern is the language barrier, with calls being made for the government to do more to ensure that the education system is not just accommodating to Chinese but to all immigrants who want to resettle in Guyana. Guyana is unique in that it does not have a Chinatown, but neither does McTurk want one. At least, not an artificially created pantomime, no. Her opposition: Chinese here have a stronger sense of Guyanese identity, she says.
An artificially created pantomime, no.
What would be ideal for you?
As I keep saying, what would be ideal for me is for Guyana as a nation to give genuine recognition to all 6 people of which we are composed.
The two also used the discussion to dispel myths, including that Chinese do not reinvest capital into Guyana's economy, but send their money back home to China.
The things they bring in here is import from China. That's why they got to send the money go there to buy things. So I don't think that is like the people say they send back the money and not invest here.
Altogether, they simply want the authorities to not ignore the Chinese. They want a place that is welcoming. For the newsroom, Kurt Campbell.